Hey everyone, it's Jason here, and I have something new I'm going to try out. And this is going to be the first. I am going to go through a bunch of really old magazines that I had when I was in my teenage years. This one is from May of 1993, Volume 4, Number 4 of Auto Sound and Security. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn through the pages and just a little bit of talk, just a very little bit, things that I was really interested in. And if you ever want to see up closer up of a page, just hit pause and zoom. I'll try not to go too fast, but not too slow, so I can do a whole book in a reasonable amount of time. So here's the cover, talking about, spring cleaning. I guess this one came out in the spring, being May. The model showing off some cars. Looks like the front of a Nissan Pulsar, maybe the back of a Ford Thunderbird or something there. I don't know, but some really popular things on the cover here. An Alpine, probably disc changer, Mother's cleaning products, Soundstream, Spectrum Analyzer. I think that's what that one is. There's a Bazooka bass tube, and then their goodies. More sponsored stuff. And they have an Alpine ribbed subwoofer there. All right, Bazooka tubes, real popular bass system. Targa, low end brand kind of car stereo, but they had some pretty neat stuff. Full page ad here. This guy, trademark, he's been used forever. This was just like their shop brand of speakers and amps. Articles, car security. Yeah, that was a Ford Thunderbird, an Alpine built car, Mustang, 5.0. The old Phoenix Gold Route 66 amp. Table of contents. All right, let's flip through it here. Their feedback, Sherwood Company, Advent, high-end car stereo. What's new? Some pre-made sub boxes, mid bass. Never heard, don't remember. Oh, Soundstream. Of course, the Soundstream was a nice high-end brand. Orion. JL Audio was really getting popular about 90, 91. I remember this fiberglass trifold thing you could buy. Put whatever sub you want in it. Or there's advertisement for an old Iasca show. These things were so popular, they'd advertise months and months and months in advance. The Build. Every time it showed a system chart. And whenever you went to one of the car stereo shows back then, everybody had this chart usually in their trunk somewhere, on their trunk lid, or on a plaque somewhere showing the symmetry of the system. That got you an extra point when you were being judged, at one of those car shows. Low-end brand, Sanyo. Used to sell these at, like, even auto parts stores would have this brand in stock. Of course, Infinity was still big. This is about cleaning the disc. Cleaning your disc optical eyes. Wow, they're getting down detailing with Q-tips and keeping everything running good. All right, Testarossa custom build. Kicks in the front, for your bass, custom door panels. Your diagram. Really neat hydraulic door that would open, showing all the components, and really neat door panels. Hollywood. They didn't have all these colors. This was one of the car shows. I remember seeing some of these things in person. Yeah, all the Phoenix Gold Art Series. Every little piece, every amp, the crossovers, everything was in there. Security tips. We used to do that. Have to do that on our own. Clarion, high-end. Dynamat board. Dynaboard. Sherwood was a huge, at the shows back then. Some pre-made sub boxes, some bandpass, isobaric type loaded speakers, third phase, all different types of bandpass, isobaric loaded, changing the phase. I learned a lot by reading this back then. MTX was ginormous for bass back then. Kenwood, whole custom Kenwood build there. Inverted speakers down into that kick space. So this would actually show up at the big shows. And that's a factory car they built. Talking about how to fuse things. Volcano, big high-end loud brand. more things on talking about voltage and waves and clipping and stuff like that. Your sine wave clipping, this is how I learned about, tuning amplifiers and doing crossovers. Rockford Fosgate Punch 40. These were awesome. I think this one had the additional added on pieces. Yeah, there's that spectrum equalizer. Now that shows they'd have these and they'd measure. You'd want a nice flat curve, to get the most points. Pyle was a huge, loud, more SPL based speakers. That's some weird car there. Some import type car. Really big custom doors. They always went and did a car shop, CDC Auto Stereo shop tour. I don't know if they're still around, but, Lanzar, that was a high-end brand. Probably down south, Lanzar was but I don't know where this one is. A cellular back then. Look at these cell phones hiding back here. It's a big old phones. All the car stereo events they'd go to. Never heard of that brand there. Oh. Official judging rules. I used to read these and try to memorize those things. That's how to get maximum points at those old IASCA shows. But yeah, this was how I learned how to, build a system around shows and really get, what they were looking for. The ergonomics, the absence of system noise, the frequency separation between and your staging and your imaging, all that kind of stuff. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. And then, it went into the wiring installation, got you 10 points. And your integrity, that's part of cosmetics. Attention to detail, that could be just keeping your car clean. Everything added up for points. And then, of course, you had your sound pressure level, which was a maximum of 30 points. You just had to hit that threshold of 130 dB. Doesn't seem like very much anymore. But you had to use their track. So use track 4, L Daddy on the official IASCA sound thing. And then your frequency response, that was all about the curve. Glossary. Funny, my old address. Kicker, of course. Everybody knows Kicker. Still around to this day. In 2024, Kicker was hot back then. I had some Kicker subs in the late 80s in my car. Stillwater Designs, they're based out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. One of the big old trucks. I guess they built this one. This may be a Kicker truck. Beautiful. Look at this loaded subwoofers there. Push-pull configuration. So here's that wiring diagram again. Push-pull configuration. Cut your airspace down in half typically. Wire one in phase, one out of phase. That way they work in conjunction with each other and don't cancel each other out. Can add a lot more power to it. Keeps it nice and tight. Loved this type of setup. Oh, linear power. Oh, that was my favorite amp in the late 80s. The 2002 was a gigantic monster. Super underrated power, but it was so powerful. So much kick. And then they added, I had linears, 952s, and I had 952Is, 95I2IQs. And those are amazing amplifiers. Come in tons of different colors. They were anodized. That was pretty big and pretty hot back then. Wiring diagram using their parts. Urban Audio Works. Cassette deck with your 10-disc changer, your equalizer, and your amps. And it's basically just a big advertisement for their stuff. Crunch, another SPL monster back in the day. Capacitors were huge back then. We don't talk about capacitors too much anymore nowadays, but back then, everybody thought this is what it needed, that reserve power for that little bit of kick. And this is just Street Beat. You can mail in pictures of your cars, and they could feature those with old, awesome Kicker subs. Loved those in the late 90s. Some really custom build to try. 3 axles in the back. Continuation of the other parts, the loaded up and the bandpass boxes and ported boxes. Oh, that's ported, sealed. Audio control, that was what that equalizer is, and they have all audio control. Still makes a lot of really neat pieces. Some real big popular music of the day. A lot of people will get this, but a review of music. Really cool to think about how they felt about it back here in 1993. I had the Phoenix Gold M44, amplifier, and I always wanted this Route 66, but it was such limited edition. But it was basically a Route 44 and a Phoenix Gold M44 and an M22, I think it was, combined into one huge. You can still buy these in 2003 on eBay. There's a lot of people overseas sell these, and they take them and they recap them and modify them, so they're just, like new again. So really amazing amplifier. You really need to have one of these just in a collection piece. But nowadays all this stuff seems to be all scratched off, because there's a screen printed and it starts rusting, from the atmosphere around the screws and stuff like that. So they never look good anymore. All right, there's the back of that car. Saab. Yeah, I never was into Saabs, really. Won a lot of awards. Cliff Designs, another high-end. And the end, Advertising America's largest DEI. Now DEI, I think, owns everything, practically. I think that's what the company is. Well, anyways, that's my quick review of AutoSound Security, and this is my first type of video like this. I hope you liked it. If you do, definitely hit that like and subscribe button, because I have a stack of about 100, even some into the late 80s and early 90s, all the way up to the mid 2000s, with really fun stuff. And if you like this format, I really would love some feedback below. If I talked too much, if I moved too fast, let me know how you feel so I can make these videos the way you like them. Thanks for watching.